There's a fashion rule saying that you shouldn't wear white after Labor Day. Some think it all began because long before there was air conditioning, white was simply a less heat absorbing color and was no longer necessary as the winter months approached. Others believe it was because the wealthy wore white all summer long to boast their status and put the white away in the winter. However, the real reason may be because, with the high candy holidays coming, people don't want to stain their white clothes with the likes of peanut butter Snickers bars. Today, we celebrate Labor Day by trying 3 varieties of peanut butter Snickers and asking, "You tried that?" You tried that. Happy Labor Day. I'm Nick Novak with my pals Chad Hancock,
Howdy.
Nick Geiger,
Hey there.
and a returning member, our fourth podcast member here, Christine. Welcome back, Chrissy.
Hey boys, good to be back.
Oh, so glad to have you back. We got a lot of feedback from the fans demanding a return appearance from you.
I'm sure you got emails, telegrams, pigeons.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly just my wife being like, have her back. She's funnier than all of you.
You, from the first appearance, did you start to get recognized on the street or get any fanfare from that?
Probably. It's hard to tell away from that and the paranoid schizophrenia I've been battling my whole life. But I'd like to attribute this to the podcast.
Isn't it true? Because you went to Papua New Guinea in between when we last saw you. And when you arrived there in Port Moresby, wasn't there like a big parade in your honor because of your podcast appearance?
I just kept seeing the letters YTD everywhere I went.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They're changing the name of their country from PNG to YTD.
Yeah, I think that's actually on the next referendum. It's really impressive, guys.
Yeah, we're influencers.
All right, guys. I have a little story here. There, we talked on the podcast before about the website Nextdoor, and that is basically just nosyneighbor.com, where it's social media for a very close surrounding area, like people right within your village. So my wife forwarded me a message from there because she knows that I just get a sick satisfaction from hearing people argue about the most mundane of things. And I'm going to read you a post from there, and you can tell me what you think. And the person perfectly asked a question at the end of the post that we can discuss. So it's titled Sampling at Jewel. And Jewel is a grocery store in the likes of Meijer or Ralph's or wherever you live, but it's local to the Chicago area. Sampling at Jewel. Just returned from picking up a few items at our neighborhood Jewel. Grapes are on sale. I couldn't help notice that a gentleman and his daughter were grazing over both red and green grapes. He proceeded to taste 32 grapes as he selected the ones he was going to buy. This went on for 7 to 8 minutes. Every package on the display, he would take a grape from. I happened to see the manager and said how odd it was that someone would basically take those grapes. And he said, it happens all the time. Can't tell you how many cherry pits and apple cores there are throughout the store. I can't say anything. And then she ends with, when is taking a sample really stealing?
Okay, but let's just back up for a minute. 32 grapes, not 31. Like, who's this bitch that she's just standing there counting every single grape that this lowlife is taking?
For 7 to 8 minutes.
Right.
It takes 7 to 8 minutes to eat 32 grapes? I'm pretty sure I can house 32 grapes in about 90 seconds.
He was having his servants like slowly feed them to him as he like lounged Roman God style.
I think I hate both sides of this.
Yes.
Like the lady watching the guy counting the grapes, and also dude taking 10 minutes to eat a meal in the produce aisle. Like, finding apple cores, that's fucking ridiculous. Eating an entire apple and they're just chucking it on the floor of a store? You don't live there. Don't do that at your house either, to be honest. It's ants and shit.
I've shopped at this grocery store a lot, and I've never seen apple core 1 in any of the aisles.
I mean, I used to work produce, as I think I mentioned before, at a grocery store in my hometown. And I myself would eat some grapes. And I think I also ate peanuts a lot. There was a big open bin of peanuts, and I would just walk by and grab a handful pretty much all day long. And that's fine. I think a peanut or two or a grape or two I'm fine with. But like when you're getting to the level of eating an entire apple and throwing the core on the ground, you are a prick.
Well, let's make a distinction here. If you're an employee at the grocery store, then you're allowed to steal whatever you want, right? Like that's in the American Constitution. Right. But like the customers coming in, you know, hands off the grapes. I remember I used to work when I was in college. I worked at this like the local little convenience store that was in like the main student library or whatever. And I was very good. I worked there for 3 years, and the first 3/4 of the first year, freshman year, I was very good. I like never stole anything.
3/4 year?
Yeah, for the first 3/4 year. But they had this contest that they were running where they were like, you could win a mini fridge, right? Like a Coca-Cola mini fridge. And you had to like write your name on a piece of paper and put it in like a little thing. And I read the rules very carefully, and it did not say that, I swear I'm getting to a point here. It did not say that like employees of the convenience store were not eligible. So I wrote my name on a piece of paper every single day and put it in. And then, but it was also kind of in the back corner of the store, so not a lot of people saw it. So then at the end of the year, when they went to go like draw the names, they of course drew my name out. And then the manager was like, we can't give it to him. Threw it to the side. Draws another one. It's my name again. Throws it to the side. Draws another one. It's some random person. He calls them up. They don't answer. Throws it to the side. Draws another one. It's me again. Throws it to the side. Finally,
are you watching this?
Yeah, I was like really mad that he wouldn't give me the fridge. So finally, on his fifth time, he finds somebody who could answer and come get the fridge or whatever. Anyways, the whole point of that long story is that I used that in my 20-year-old mind as justification for, okay, well, now this convenience store owes me $75 worth of snacks that I'm slowly going to steal during my shifts over the course of like the next 2.5 years that I worked there.
Why was the raffle in the back of the store? Is it because you put it there on the first day of the raffle?
I put a big sign that says like, if you put your hand in, there's like a bear claw will, take your hand off.
Why was the raffle in your handwriting?
Yeah. So I ended up then making it my policy, like every day I was going to come in and like I'd have like a thing of milk or like a Snickers bar or something like that.
It would have been a lot easier if you would have just stole the mini fridge. Then it would have just been one bad thing.
I have to offer a different perspective on this. I'm not sure if the three of you ever took DARE.
I did.
DARE to keep a kid off drugs. And Deputy Bausch in 6th grade at Aaron Elementary told us that if we stole a grape from a grocery store, it was stealing. Anything, a grape or larger, was stealing. It was actually a grape. So I hear this story and I just see Deputy Bausch and his shiny badge and his creepy sock puppet telling me that this is in fact theft.
So did you like scour the grocery store looking for anything smaller than a grape? Like, oh, raisins are okay. Or like, if I break this donut into 20 pieces, I can like take each individual piece.
I think you're missing the point here, Chad.
So back up. This guy, creepy sock puppet. And was this guy a deputy? Or is this some guy that showed up at your school?
They have the puppet. They have the dog. Yeah. The DARE dog that they bring to the school that's like, dare to keep a bite out of drugs. I might be mixing my metaphors here, but
that's quite the mixed message.
Only you can prevent drug addicts.
I think you don't want them taking bites out of drugs, right? Eat some of these drugs.
It really was grapes, and I still do think of it. It's been 25 years later, and I still think of that at a supermarket. That if you take a grape, that is theft. That is stealing. So I would never take a grape.
So this guy did not take DARE. This guy had no ex-grocery.
Bad in the face of DARE. Yeah. You remember being told this, Chrissy, but do you believe that? So how many grapes are you allowed to take before it is stealing?
I think it's a real slippery slope. So I'm going to stick with 0 unless you're at the grocery store that none of you like, that I love, which is Trader Joe's.
Hey, I like Trader Joe's.
You do, Chad, which encourages free sampling. You can ask to sample anything in their store for free. So that kind of a policy, maybe like a Whole Foods, something with a high profit margin. But your average neighborhood Jewel, we don't need to teach that to our children or to our sock puppets.
But what makes it sampling then? So you're allowed to sample at Trader Joe's, So if I just ate 32 grapes at Trader Joe's, I'm cool.
You're very cool.
I think you have to ask one of the Hawaiian shirted employees to help you out, and that makes it kosher.
Yeah, last time I was at Trader Joe's, I brought a scalding hot frying pan. I cracked a couple in there. I'm like, yeah, these look good. And I ate them. And then I brought my own can opener and had some Chef Boyardee. And I was like, yeah, you know what? These are fine. These are fun. Just sampling, guys. And I put half can back on the shelf.
Joke's on you, Geiger. They don't sell Chef Boyardee at Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I know, because Trader Joe's went to hippie bullshit. That's why.
Geiger, how'd you get a scalding hot pan at Trader Joe's?
I drove really fast from my house. I hooked it up to a car battery. I'm homeless, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. My sampling is subsistence.
You're like, hey, there's a Trader Joe's right next to like a Home Depot, and you're like, oh, the sampling policy, it extends, so I'm going to sample one of their propane tanks, one of their Weber grills, like then a whole bunch of hot dogs from Trader Joe's. Just set up a barbecue out front.
Yeah.
You need to sample their mini fridge.
This whole conversation reminds me of one of my favorite conversations from college. I knew Novak and a bunch of and Chad actually in college, but during college it was Novak and a bunch of other friends, a couple of whom were listeners. But I didn't live with them. I lived in I had my own apartment. So I get this random phone call and it was like, hey, you settle something for us. And I'm like, and there's all this shouting in the background. It's like, if you go 1 mile over the speed limit, is it against the law? Is that speeding? And I'm like, well, technically, I guess, right? Right. So, like, that's just as bad as murder, right? And I'm like, what? And then I hear someone in the background go, tell them about John Stockton. I'm like, what is going on? So apparently the argument had started as John Stockton was a dirty basketball player, and if you broke the rule and the ref didn't call it, that's still as bad as stealing. So if you can get away with murder... Like, if you broke the rule and didn't get called by the referees, it was just as bad as committing murder and not getting caught. And then it turned into how many miles over the speed limit is, like, reckless endangerment or something like that. What the fuck just happened? So every time I think of John Stockton, I think of unsolved murder.
That sounds like the most annoying argument of all time.
So Chrissy officially says...
I think you guys could have used some Deputy Bausch.
Chrissy officially says 0. Guys, lay down your number. How many grapes to you're stealing? Chad, what do you say? What's your official stance?
I think 1 is okay. I think 2 is stealing.
Geiger?
I think 5 is a good number. Because
you can make up your mind after 1 grape.
I agree, but sometimes you want to try from each bunch because each bunch might be good or bad. So if you want to buy multiple bunches, I think 5 grapes is fine, especially the loose grapes just sitting there. No one's going to buy an individual grape. Let's get over it, okay? They're going to buy the bunch. But more than 5, you're a fucking thief.
You just walk in, grab an individual grape, and like whip a penny at the cashier and walk out.
Put it in a bag, tie it up, do the little like cinch sack, set it down, weigh it.
I'm gonna go with 2. 2 is okay, and then 3 is stealing. So that's official. We've decided it.
So that tells us that Geiger is the biggest piece of shit of all of us.
Right.
That's what we've learned today.
We didn't know
Set
that.
you up to look like an asshole, and we've effectively done it.
I'll go to hell for 5 grapes. That's fine.
All right. We've got snacks to try, and thankfully, Chrissy does not have to come back to try Little Debbie. You're in for a treat today. I'm really looking forward to this episode. I love Snickers. I love peanut butter. So we're going to try 3 Snickers peanut butter snacks and rate them on a 5-point scale. We have a love dat, like dat, indifferent to dat, dislike dat, and hate dat. And how do you guys feel? I know, Geiger, I know how you feel about Snickers because you and I are Snickers men. Chad and Chrissy, where's your stance on a straight up Snickers?
Snickers is about the best there is. You can't get a better candy bar than a Snickers, really. I love to hike. And I think half the reason I love to hike is just because you can justify bringing Snickers along and feeling completely unguilty about eating 2 or 3 at a time.
Good call.
Halloween candy, the fun size Snickers. I'll give Chad the Reese's peanut butter cup as a close tie up there, but a Snickers, I mean, it's just about the best you can get.
Yeah, but if you're talking fun size Halloween, the Snickers is better than the fun size Reese's cup.
Concur. Totally agree.
Yeah, I'm right up there. Snickers top candy bar, I think, as far as specific something that's bar shaped. Of all the dick shaped candies out there, Snickers is the one I want to suck on the most.
Your dick is shaped like a Snickers? It's a square?
Comes in 2 distinct pieces?
full of
And
nuts.
Deep brown?
I will say I'm very, very excited about this episode too, because I feel like we've been on a run of like really bad shit. Like we had those couple little Debbies. We had the M&M tournament where most of those M&Ms were awful. We had this Thailand disaster. So I think this will be really good. And we also did the previous Snickers episode last year where it was those 3 Snickers flavors, the fiery espresso and the sweet and salty. And 2 of those were bad. So I think this is good. I think we have 3 really strong contenders here. And I'm excited about them.
Let's start with the straight up peanut butter one. Snickers real peanut butter. That's the most seemingly basic of peanut butter Snickers. Now these Snickers bars come in 4 squares, which is very different than any other way you see a candy bar. Even the more recent king size Snickers and king size bars have started to put them in 2s, but you don't see 4s very much.
This is so you can twist to close.
So, Chad, is this still the shape of your dick? Like a small square?
Only since you took a bite out of it.
Gotcha.
What does the real in real peanut butter mean?
I don't know.
As opposed to the processed peanut butter, like fake peanut butter substance they put in the other ones?
Well, the other one doesn't have peanut butter, right? The other one just says peanuts, caramel, nougat.
Oh, duh, yeah.
It does make me wonder about the peanut butter in the other 2. If this is the only one with real peanut butter.
Right.
Yeah.
So this one is in the yellow package. If you're in the store, you may have noticed it. So we're trying these out. And as our guest, Chrissy, you're going to go first. I want to hear what you think, your rating, and also what do you think Detective Bausch would say?
Thanks, guys. And thank you again for not having more Little Debbies this time around. I'm super pumped that it's a Snickers episode. Yeah, this is good. I don't think it's as good as a real Snickers because there's not as much of the peanut, so you don't have the contrast and textures. The peanut butter's fine. It's creamy. But this isn't necessarily a memorable bar, but it's damn good because it's chocolate and peanut butter. So, like that.
All right. I like that to start. Geiger, what do you think?
Just reading the back, and I noticed it says partially produced with genetic engineering, which is kind of ominous. But,
whatever. Everything in our food stream is like fucked with to all levels. So
that's true.
It's going to give us superpowers.
We're all going to die. Steal your grapes. Get out of here. All right. YOLO is invented for stealing grapes, right?
I only steal grapes produced by Monsanto because fuck the man. Right?
Yeah.
Yogo. You only grape once.
You only grape once. Or 32 times, according to the podcast.
Yog 32T.
That will not catch on.
Hashtag Yog 32T.
New t-shirt, guys. This is really good. I mean, it's, I don't know. I don't necessarily like it more than a regular Snickers, but I think that's just because the regular Snickers, I'm so used to it and it's reliable and all that. But this is really good. Like if this was not have the Snickers name on it, was just a different candy bar, I'd think it's fantastic. So, yeah, I don't mind so much that there's a little less like the contrast or whatever, like Chrissy was saying. I think it tastes really good. The peanut butter tastes good. I don't love, this sounds dumb. I kind of just having a candy bar, not the little tiny square, like I don't need like 4 slightly large pieces of candy. Just give me a fucking candy bar. But having said that,
yeah,
this is a high like that for me. I like this.
All right, 2 likes, Chad.
It's good. I'm a little disappointed on 2 levels with this. One, I think the peanut butter could be a little bit sweeter. It's good, but it's lacking sort of just a little something. And like Geiger said, the form factor is just fucking whack. It's really stupid. They should just do like the regular king size Snickers, which is sort of like 2 bars. Or if I get this as like a full bar, like I don't want the 2 little squares. Like there's no world where I'm not eating this entire thing at once. But it is still really, really, really good. I think it could be a little better, but it's good. I'm going to go a solid like that.
All right, knock at the door. I'm going to answer it. This is a good bar. You guys were right on. I think the form messes with the taste. I think if this was in a 2-bar or a full bar form, that it would be a lot better and I'd be able to taste more of the ingredients. In this case, I think it ends up maybe being a little too much chocolate because you get that extra chocolate. But it does taste good. All the ingredients are good. They mix together well. So a like that and a welcome visitor for the peanut butter Snickers. To no real surprise, let's do the crisper next. Again, we have another 4 square here. It's the Snickers peanut butter crisper, and really has kind of like the puffed rice in it, I believe.
Puffed rice like you'd find in a Crunch Bar or a Crackle or something like that. But also a big, thick layer of peanut butter on the top like the other one.
Almost more peanut butter, I think. Because, I don't know why, but mine seems to have more peanut butter.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, while we eat, I have a question. Chrissy, since we have you, maybe you can do a quick analysis on and tell me what's wrong with me.
It's going to take a while.
I don't know if I'm too like balls deep into this podcast or what, but I've been having more and more like sort of snacking related dreams. So like the other night, and this is not made up, I had a dream where the 3 of us, me and the 2 Nicks, were on the Golden Gate Bridge, and we had an episode where we talked about the X Games like a while back, and we made a bunch of jokes about those sort of like old-timey bicycles.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so we were all riding old-timey bicycles across the Golden Gate Bridge, but the wheels on the bicycles were replaced with toast, like big giant squares of toast. So what does that mean?
Well, that's not very practical. Was it the bikes with the big wheel and then the little wheel behind it?
That's right, yeah. And both wheels were toast, like a big square and then a little square.
Which one of you was wearing the monocle?
I imagine we all were. I'm not sure.
You all had monocles on. Which one of you was ready to leap off the edge?
That's always me. I'm always ready to go.
What are you expecting? What are you expecting her to tell you about this, Chad?
I don't know. She's the doctor. I don't know shit.
Yeah, dream interpretation is a real crucial part of being a psychologist these days.
Yeah, isn't that all the refugees come to you and they're like, oh yeah, I just dreamed about toast.
Yeah, they're like, I don't have any hope left in my life. I've been separated from all of my family and everything I've known dear for the last 5 years, but I had this dream.
Why'd I get a boner?
I mean, Chad, I got nothing. I mean, I love you, man, but the stream's weird. I think you're weird, but I love you for it. I think keep writing that cycle. Keep going across that bridge until you make all of your X game dreams come true.
Chrissy, thanks for fucking nothing.
God, it is a whole pile of bullshit that just came out of my mouth.
I will say the end of that story is that I woke up to have like 6 pieces of toast just like skewered on my dick.
What?
So, maybe that had something to do with
Wait
it.
a minute. Were Novak and I still riding the bikes at this time? What happened? I'm confused.
Did you notice in the dream that we were riding away from you?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Toast Man there. You can why don't you start off our reading?
Mr. Toast!
I think this is really really good. I mean, look, I'm a fan. I've said on this podcast of crisp rice stuff. Like, I really like a Crunch Bar. I like a Crackle. I know you guys don't as much. I think this takes that Snickers peanut butter that we just tried, and I think it improves it a lot by adding that crisp rice and making the consistency better, making the flavor better. It's just an overall better balance. I think this is really, really good. Still not quite better than a regular Snickers, but I could definitely see myself buying this on the regular. This is a really pleasant surprise. I'm going Love Dat.
Wow.
Whoa.
All right, I'll go next. I agree with Chad in that this is better than the first one, and I don't even usually like stuff with puffed rice in it, but it's the higher ratio of peanut butter that's getting it done. So I don't think it's a Love Dat for me, but it is a very high like that, and I would definitely recommend this over the regular peanut butter Snickers. So a love and a like. So Geiger, what do you think?
Yeah, so it's good. I agree that the peanut butter tastes a little more prominent. My thing with puffed rice in candy is that it doesn't add anything flavor-wise to me. It's just texture, and I don't give a shit about the texture. I want it to taste good. So it's just empty space in there for me. So I would...
You motherfucker.
Yeah, well, it's still a like that. Don't get me wrong. I liked the taste of it. It's good. It's just I would not put it
How do you not care about mouthfeel? You're on a food podcast.
Yeah, I'm also a dirty slob, so who gives a shit? I That's not true. I'm great. I like. No, I liked it. I don't like it more than what we just ate, or a regular Snickers. But it's a fair like that. It's fine.
All right. So a love, 2 likes. Chrissy, what do you think?
Guys, I'm not a fan of this one. Did you taste any peanuts? Did anybody taste a peanut?
It's not prevalent.
Is there peanut?
No.
It's for me. It's not a Snickers if you can't taste a peanut. That's a life motto of mine I've had for a long time, and I'm glad I can apply it here to the podcast today. No, the crisp rice, I'd rather have peanuts. It's a better crunch. Talking about mouthfeel, I'd rather crunch down on a peanut than sort of this wannabe peanut of the cracked rice. So I'm really indifferent to that. I don't think this is anything special whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Wow. Okay. All right. But that's still we still have a tie because of an indifferent and a love, and the difference there is split to a like. So it's a tie with the creamy to go. And I have a dream that I need Chrissy to.
Well, guys, this has been fun. Thanks for the Snickers. I'm going to Libya. See y'all later.
Mine is about my dream is I'm at a school and there's a dare assembly. And
You had this dream, huh?
There's a detective there, and he has a sock puppet, right? And I'm just staring at him with this sock puppet. What do you think? Is there anything to that? Should I read into that?
When you wake up, what's the moisture level in your pants?
When I wake up, I only had 2 pieces of toast on my dick, and I know Chad said 5. So that's.
Now, Vic, what's the moisture level in your pants right now?
I think if I flip back through one of my Freudian books, I think that means that, you know what, it doesn't mean anything because dream interpretation isn't a real thing. Anyway, guys, next.
All right. Next, Geiger's going to tell us about his grape stealing dream.
Yeah.
Geiger?
Novak, I'm sure this means you have many, many years of God, I don't know what you have ahead of you. Delicious snacks?
It's
I
weird.
think that's the best we could hope for.
Right. And in the dream, it was actually the dare guy that only you knew, which was strange.
Yeah.
Dream transference.
But somehow you felt safe. I'm sure you were able to feel safe nonetheless, nestled in the bosom of Deputy Bausch.
All right. Chad, segment time.
Okay, so we're going to do a return of popular segment, Mount Snackmore. So we are going to rate 10 things and build a Mount Snackmore. Now, today's category is meat. We are going to rank 10 different types of meat. Now, obviously, in the world, there are more than 10 types of meat. So I had to pick, 10. So don't at me that I didn't include your favorite fucking meat, all right?
Did you include man meat?
I included the type of meat that skewers toast.
Then I'm fine.
So get your pens and paper ready or whatever. Here are the 10 meats that we are going to rank. Beef, pork, lamb, chicken, turkey, duck, shrimp, fish, crab, lobster.
Am I going to be the first one to point out that half of these things aren't meat at all?
What's not meat?
Well, I think seafood technically in the meatitarian vegetarian sense, right? But it's the meat of an animal. I think it's the flesh of an animal.
If you're the type of fucking person that says I'm a vegetarian but you eat seafood, go fuck yourself, because that is horseshit. Seafood is meat. You're a pescatarian. Anyways.
Point taken, Chad. Point taken.
What about human?
Chad has no strong opinions on that subject.
Nope.
I developed a taste for human flesh.
The most dangerous meat of all.
I mean, fish is a pretty broad one, right?
Yeah.
We're encompassing everything from salmon to craw.
Sure.
Anything with the word
Why
fish,
not?
like the band fish.
Yeah.
Swedish fish.
I debated going just salmon, but I decided to include all of fish to make it a little more interesting.
This is tough.
Yep.
I can go ahead while you guys are ranking.
Okay, go for it.
So for me, number 1, shrimp. I absolutely love shrimp. I think it's so good. To me, like, it's also like one of those perfect foods where you can just kind of pick it up and pop them in your mouth one at a time. It's great being mixed in with lots of dishes, Italian food, stuff like that. 2, I'm going to go pork, even though I don't eat like a pork chop, but like when you factor in ham, bacon, all that other stuff, pork's really good. 3, this was tough for me, but I went lobster for number 3. Lobster is kind of a pain in the ass to eat, but when you get that lobster claw, it's just a really, really, really good. 4, I'm going to go beef. I don't eat as much beef as I used to, but still, like a burger, really tough to beat. Good New York strip. 5, crab. Almost as good as lobster, but I just prefer lobster a little bit. Seems like a little more flavorful. 6, I'm going turkey. That might be a controversial pick, but I think that's the best one to go on like a deli sandwich is turkey. Also, I love deep frying a turkey at Thanksgiving. 7, I'm going fish just for salmon. Salmon is pretty much the only fish I eat. Other fish is fine, but salmon is really outstanding. 8, chicken, mostly for fried chicken. I don't really want to eat chicken otherwise. Fried chicken is great, though. 9, duck. Duck's good, but nothing I ever really got out of my way for. Last but not least, lamb. Or I guess last and least, lamb. I don't really see why you would ever eat lamb. So there we go.
Oh, I'll go. Chad, you and I tend to align on a lot of things, but we couldn't be more different on our list here.
All right.
Well, I mean, one thing is I don't really like seafood much, so that I'm going to kill them a lot on this Mount Meatmore. But my number 1 is lamb.
Wow.
I love lamb. I think I will seek it out. I love cooking it. So easily my number 1 is lamb. 2, beef. I love beef in all its many forms. 3, I got chicken. I eat chicken probably 4 days a week for lunch. I just cook a big bunch of it at the beginning of the week and eat it. 4, I'm going to go turkey. 5, duck. 6, shrimp. 7, lobster. 8, pork. I put pork far down. I just do not like pork very much.
Wow.
9, crab, and then 10, fish. I've almost have never found a fish that I like very much or whatever. Order out somewhere. All right, Chrissy, you look ready.
I'm so ready. I think I'm going to throw this off because mine is different from both of you. Number 1. Wait, we start with number 1 or should we start with 10?
1.
Okay. 1, I go pork. I mentioned in the last episode, I lived a year in the Middle East and I've never craved pork more in my life. And a year later, I still crave it. Being separated from bacon is not a life that I like to live. But pork, it can be light, but it can be very fatty. I find it a very versatile meat. Number 2 is fish because you include all sorts of fish. So that includes everything from salmon to Swedish, and I find them all delicious.
Swedish fish.
3, lobster. I mean, it's good stuff. It's a great texture, and it's usually served in a pound of melted butter.
Yeah.
So I'm always down with that. 4, lamb. I'm with Novak. Lamb is delicious. It can be really tender. It's really seasoned well. Lamb is underrated. I'll argue with you, Chad, on that one. Number 5, beef, burger, steak. It's a solid middle ground. Number 6, shrimp. I mean, shrimp's good, but it sort of just takes on whatever you flavor it with. Otherwise, the flavor and the texture is almost always kind of the same. Number 7, duck. No reason. Number 8, chicken. It's sort of boring. It's probably the one I eat the most often, but that's just because it's the most available.
Yeah.
Number 9, turkey. Turkey's lame. Thanksgiving is sort of lame. Thanksgiving is about the side items, not the turkey. And number 10, crab. It's too much of a pain in the ass to eat. Unless it's all prepared and in front of me, I don't want to have to work for my food.
Nice. Good list.
All right, well done, Geiger.
I think I'm more in line with like Chrissy and then Novak. Chad, you're again going to be the outlier here, I think. So number 1 is beef. And that's primarily because of steak. Like, I just love steaks. I wish I didn't. They're not good for you, but I can't help it. They're tasty as shit.
You're a Wisconsin man, born and bred. You eat beef.
I'm a Wisconsin guy. Look, all the cows around. Look, just give me a glass of milk and a steak. Actually, just give me one of those. 2, I love lobster. I really like it. Lobster is like my special occasion kind of food that I like. I don't know what about it. It's just rich. And I think, as Chrissy aptly pointed out, you douse it in butter. It's just tasty as hell. So that's number 2 for me. Actually, 3 is going to be crab then. I really like crab as well. There's a lot of different kinds of crab, which I like. So it's a lot of different types of like snow crab and king crab and soft shell and claws and all that kind of stuff. So that's all really good. And then 4 is fish. So I love seafood in general. So steak and seafood are my 2 favorite things. So really all the fish in the world. I eat a lot of salmon. I've been cooking a lot more fish at home. It's healthier. Plus, as Chrissy helpfully pointed out, you get all kinds of different fish in there, like crawfish and all the other kinds of fish that you can have. And as Wisconsinites, we can probably also agree on fish fry on Friday nights.
Totally.
5 is lamb. So that in lamb, I sort of regret not being able to put lamb higher. I really love all those other things. I really love lamb too. And lamb is probably the food I wish I ate more because my family doesn't like it. I'm the only one in the family likes lamb. And when I go out to a steakhouse, which is primarily the only place that serves lamb other than like a Greek restaurant, which I just don't happen to go to all that often, I get a steak. So I need some lamb in my life. I enjoy lamb. Chicken is actually next. And it kind of surprised me how high up the list it was.
That is surprising.
That's number 6. And it's really because I've become obsessed with fried chicken. I love fried. It's not the healthy properties of chicken at all. Like the reason you guys are bringing it up. I love fried chicken a ton. And so that brings it all the way up. And I've also been making it more like chicken thighs and chicken noodle soup and stuff like that. It's really tasty and versatile. 7 is pork. That's primarily because of bacon and because of pulled pork and like barbecue. But like a pork chop does not excite me in any way. It's very boring. It can be good. I don't mind them. It's just I never get excited to eat a pork chop or like pork tenderloin or something like that. 8 is shrimp. Shrimp's fine. I almost put shrimp ahead of pork, but bacon really does kind of save the day there. And ham, I should point out, is pretty good too. Shrimp's fine. It's kind of there. It doesn't have a ton of its own flavor, I don't think. I like shrimp. I'm less big on shrimp than I used to be. 9 is duck. I also like duck. It's duck. I mean, it's fine. And then 10 is dental floss. Oh, sorry. 10 is turkey, which again, Chad, you're insane for having turkey that high. Mm-hmm. Chrissy hit the nail on the head. Turkey is the thing at Thanksgiving I least look forward to. I give 2 shits about turkey.
What?
I want to eat. I like the turkey fine. Turkey generally, now, if it's made well, it's one thing. Generally, it's a dry-ass, giant hunk of cardboard. Like, I like the dark meat. I'll get a leg. I like the gravy on it. Don't get me wrong. It's fine. But if you told me I could have...
It makes a bad deli meat. I agree. Like, it's a bad deli meat. But how can you guys not look forward to the turkey at Thanksgiving? That is nuts to me.
Because I'm too busy looking forward to sweet potatoes and stuffing and green bean casserole and cornbread and all the other better things that are on the table.
The deep fried turkey is better than all of that.
That might be.
And can I just say...
Turducken is also good.
When you said you like the dark meat, all I could think about is, well, I've got a Snickers cock that you might enjoy.
Yep. And sorry. 7, I just changed. 7 is Chad's penis. Sorry, let me put that down here.
All right. Well, guys, I'll see you. I'm going to Libya. I'll see you later, boys.
All right, let's run it down. So in last place with 30 points is duck. Then turkey with 29 points gets the 9th spot. Number 8 at 27 points is crab. Really brought down by Novak and Chrissy there. Number 7 with 25 points is chicken. Number 6 with 23 points is fish. So getting into our top 5.
The 4 is the only care we only care about 4 because it's Mount Rushmore.
No, we care about 5 because the 5th spot is that Crazy Horse.
This
monument.
is Crazy Horse.
This is Crazy Horse. So the Crazy Horse Award goes to shrimp with 21 points. All right, here's our Mount Snackmore. 4th position, lamb with 20 points.
Yeah, lamb.
That's horseshit.
Bah.
3rd position with 18 points, pork. 2nd place with 15 points, lobster. And 1st place with 12 points, I think no surprise, is beef. So there you go. That is the Mount Meatmore. Meat Mount Snackmore, whatever you want to call it.
I'm not going to call it the Meat Mount Snackmore. I'm telling you that right now.
Call it that. Say Meat Mount Snackmore.
What's the Meat Mount Snackmore? How would, Chad, you do me a favor. Tell me how Diggum Frog would explain what that monument is.
What?
Hey, lady, that's the meatball Snackmore. I just want to hear you say it in his voice.
We're going to do it missionary style on top of the Meat Mount Snackmore.
I just have to say how happy I am that you guys have identified Crazy Horse. It's one of those moments, as one of your regular listeners of the podcast, one of those moments I'm shouting to the podcast because you guys couldn't remember the name of the monument. Crazy Horse! Crazy Horse! Don't bring up Mount Rushmore if you don't know Crazy Horse. So way to come full circle, boys.
That's right.
Yes. Well, Crazy Horse would be proud to be paired with shrimp, I think.
Yeah, if there's anything Native Americans are known for, it's their shrimp preparations.
Shrimp and maize, right?
Well, they were known for spearing things, so that's right on top of this episode.
There you go. They were the ones that invented the famous toast stick, where it's 6 pieces of toast and it's cooked over an open spit on a...
6 pieces?
They were the original samplers. They would go out in the forest and eat grapes off the vine.
Crazy Horse became famous for timing everyone else how long they were eating grapes in the forest.
That's why
He's known for.
He actually was just killed by his own people. They were sick of getting harassed over the grape intake.
Okay. All right. Let's eat the last Snickers. Oh, that's Meat Mount Snackmore for you. And now it's time to move on to the creamy... I had to say it. This is the creamy peanut butter Snickers.
How is this different?
It's creamy.
Oh, there's no actual peanuts in it. It's just like peanut butter and nougat.
There's no
It
peanuts.
should. It says on the side of the package, peanuts.
Yeah, it does.
Well, I can't taste any.
Maybe they just mean in butter form.
The peanut butter is exactly the same. It's exactly the same as it is in the other bars. It only just seems creamier because there's no crunch involved at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where are the peanuts? I'm not tasting them at all.
Yeah.
No, me neither. And hardly the caramel either.
Yeah. I don't understand why any of those things are in there. It should just be, if they're going to make this, just make it peanut butter top to bottom.
Yeah.
Maybe if they took the square and rounded it out, rounded the edges, and took out the caramel.
Put little grooves in there.
Made a little hole in the tip.
What?
Some Bass deference. Oh, wait, did I take it too far?
He was talking about a Reese's cup.
Oh, okay. I was talking about a dick.
Shaving it like a dick.
We just made a really strange candy bar, Novak, you and I.
Every time I look at a dick, I'm like, why can't this just be a Reese's cup?
Every time I look at Mount Rushmore, I say, why can't this just be Crazy Horse? All right. So, Geiger, why don't you start us this time? What do you think of the creamy Snickers?
So I hate when they're in these positions because I like it still. It still tasted good. So I'm going to give it a like that. However, it's not as good as I wish I could show a differentiation. It's not as good as the other two. And I'll say this. I'm going to contradict myself a tiny little bit where I said in terms of puff rice, I don't care that much about the texture. And I don't. Most of the time I want another texture in there because it provides a different flavor. This was too creamy to the point where there was nothing to it. I felt it was just too... There was lacking of anything in there. And I think what I missed was
the fucking hypocrite.
Yeah, I know. But I think what I missed was the peanut, because the peanut does provide a different flavor. It's like that salty bit, right? This was just purely sweet. And it still tasted good, and I still like the peanut butter, and it was all fine. But I wish there were some peanuts in there to provide just a little bit of texture, and mostly because it provided like a saltier component to it than what was there. It's like that, but it's not nearly... I don't like it as much as the other two, and I don't like it as much as the regular Snickers.
All right, Chrissy, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Geiger on that one. It needs peanuts. It needs a little bit something else. If I were rating this compared to a regular Snickers bar, it would somehow be much lower than a regular Snickers, yet it still is good. It's still chocolate and peanut butter. The peanut butter's nice, but it needs a little bit something extra to kick it up to a love that. But I like that. For me, it's better than the puffed rice, which also was missing the peanuts, and sort of the puffed rice was a consolation prize. But this is a solid like that. It's good. Chocolate peanut butter. Can't go wrong.
I think you can go wrong, and I think they did go wrong. Why? My biggest issue is why it says Snickers on front of the package, because there's nothing that makes this a Snickers in any way. It's just peanut butter and chocolate. That's basically all I taste, which I'm going to downgrade them for that. It's the worst of the 3 bars, in my opinion. The other 2 are far superior, and oddly for me, the crisper was the best one. I'm gonna give this an indifferent to that. So Chad, you're our final rater. What do you think?
I think this is the clear loser today. Like, because there's nothing else there besides the peanut butter is all you really taste. It really highlights that the Snickers peanut butter is not as good as, say, the Reese's peanut butter. It's just not as good. And so when you get that, when all you're getting is chocolate and peanut butter like that peanut butter needs to be top notch. And this is only a pretty good peanut butter. It's not great. It is missing the consistency that you get from a regular Snickers bar or from either of the other ones that we tried tonight. It's still good. Like, I'm going to eat the rest of this bar, but I am going to downgrade it just sort of like on principle, where I expect a little bit more from Snickers. So this is also only going to get an indifferent to that from me.
All right. So there is no clear winner. We do end up with a tie between the Snickers real peanut butter and the crisper, because we had
But Novak, you said your favorite was the crisper, and I also said my favorite was the crisper. Geiger and Chrissy, you both like your favorite was the regular peanut butter?
Yeah.
The real peanut butter.
Yeah, then it is a tie.
So tile away.
We're going to take the two squares and smash them together.
Stack all three at the same time and take one huge bite.
Well, you didn't stack them. Wait, did you stack any of these?
No, why am I stacking two squares? That's like...
That's the perfect thing to stack. Two squares of the
Later
similar
tonight
shape?
I might, but not right now. I got a podcast to record.
You can make a sandwich out of it.
Do you think that the Native Americans and wherever Crazy Horse was living at the time, do you think they had a DARE program?
No.
I think that if they had, they might have won that war. Oh, wait, they did win that war. Didn't he beat Custer? Isn't that the whole reason he's on the mountain?
Gonna be honest here, no idea who Crazy Horse actually was, but I did see the monument one time.
Yeah, me too.
Didn't you read the plaque?
Nah.
I think Crazy Horse is a strip club up in Mercer, Wisconsin. So that might be what it's for. A lot of people in there have been dared. I know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of hands going up orifices in those kind of places.
What do you think? Hold on. Wait, what?
Sock puppets,
Hold on.
Geiger.
Where's the address to the strip club? I need to figure this out. What is a hand going in an orifice?
Sock puppets.
So, Chrissy, before you go off to your next adventure, I had this dream I was hoping you could tell me a little bit about.
Let me guess. Chester Cheetah and Shaq were somehow involved.
Okay, I told you to keep that one between us. This one,
Oh, that's true.
so Chad and Novak and I are all standing together,
Right?
Okay.
and we all pull our waistbands of our pants out,
Yeah.
and Novak and I
yeah.
pull out clown noses, as is you're wont to do.
Yeah.
Chad pulled out his dick, which was all of these little tiny pieces of chocolate kind of stacked together on end, with like 18 pieces of toast jammed on the end. And then Shaq came by.
Yep.
And we played him in 3-on-3 basketball, only he didn't want to be guarded by Chad because he kept getting stabbed with candy dick.
Good dream.
What do you think that means?
I had that same dream.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
Guys, I was just going to say the same thing. I've had that same dream.
I've never had that dream. I'll be honest.
Which is really weird because I've only met one of you in real life.
Okay, here's an honest question.
Yeah.
So you're with a significant other, right? Man, woman, whoever it be. And is there any way in which they could use a sock puppet and make that experience erotic in any way?
I mean, I would never say never. I think an erotic experience with a sock is usually up for a guy, though.
Yeah.
Isn't there some sort of... I mean, a sock is a pretty crucial part of growing up with a penis.
What?
Yes, it was a big turn on using a fucking dirty old sock.
Isn't it some version of the stranger, like the fuzzy stranger, the soft stranger?
What the fuck? You had a name for it?
No, well, you guys, the whole jerking off theme. If you use a sock, there's always a sock involved.
Why are you using a sock?
The old theme of jerking off. Look, I hate to break it to you. This was not like a David Mamet play. I just fucking yanked it. I didn't name the fucking sock. What the fuck is
The
it?
fuzzy stranger.
Oh, here comes the fuzzy stranger. No, it's fucking jerk. There's no fucking preamble
I
to
don't
it.
know how you guys walk around with those things to begin with, but that's sort of how I thought it would work. I don't know.
You don't know how we walk around with socks?
I
I put them on my fucking feet. That's how.
I mean, I think the only way it could be erotic if she just put it on her hand and jerked me off. I don't know, like this at all.
How's that erotic?
Sorry.
How's,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that offers some sort of adventure for you. Get some static electricity.
was I imagining Cookie Monster was jerking me off? Why is it the fuzzy stranger? I don't understand what that is.
Yeah, and that I'm confused about as well.
I did have a lamb chop fetish growing up, so maybe there's something we could work with there.
Oh, that voice. Ugh.
That could really get me going.
Chad, how did you have a lamb chop obsession when lamb was your 10th best meat?
Well, how do you think it became the 10th best?
Yeah.
Years of rejection.
Just even lamb chop said no.
Yeah, every time lamb shows up on my plate, I'm just so rock hard I can't concentrate on the meal.
There's just so much toast to be eaten in your house on lamb night.
Perfect combo, lamb and toast.
All right. Well, this has been the show that never ends. So we're gonna put an end to it. Anybody get my lamb chop?
Yeah, totally. Good
Well
one.
done.
We're gonna call it, but we want to first let our listeners know where they can contact us. I'm sure they have a lot to tell us about your dreams. Where can they tell us, David?
So if you either are or know who the fuzzy stranger is, first of all, don't fucking call me. I'm not interested. I don't need to know his name. Second of all, if you wanted some dream interpretation done, clearly Christy is not into it. So you can call her professional contemporary, Miss Cleo, at 1-800. You guys are at the same job, right?
Yeah, all dreams can go directly to her. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's 1-900 though.
You're probably right.
She's dead.
She's dead.
This was dead?
Yeah. Yeah, she died like 3 years ago.
The background. She died.
And she didn't see it coming.
Another fact, I'm not sure why Chad knows, but
She was also not really Jamaican. No, my wife and I did a Miss Cleo deep dive the other day because there's the neighbor 2 doors down had a baby like a day before we did, and their kid's name is Cleo, like short for Cleopatra. And she was over, and we were like, "Oh, do you know who Miss Cleo is?" And she doesn't because she's from Britain. And I guess Miss Cleo didn't make her way over there. So then we were like going into the Miss Cleo Wikipedia page, and we're like, "Holy shit, she's dead! Oh, she was actually from Jersey, etc."
Chad, you know who else is dead?
Crazy Horse,
Lamb chop. Sorry to tell you.
Lamb Chop's dead.
the lady that did lamb chop, right?
Aw.
Sherry Lewis.
Lamb Chop's dead. I just went from midnight to 6.
Anywho,
Your neighbor named their child Cleopatra?
Yeah, cute kid.
tomorrow a nosy neighbor didn't even know who Miss Cleo is. Fucking dick. All right, wrap this fucker up. So if you want to reach us, you know what to do. Hashtag You Tried Dat on Twitter. You Tried Dat at gmail.com. We're on Facebook. You Tried Dat. Stitcher, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, all the places you get your podcasts. Always happy to have you listen and give us some feedback, good or bad. We'll take it all. And again, thanks a ton to Chrissy for joining us today, and best of luck in all of your travels abroad.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good luck in Libya.
Yeah, thanks. I'll do what I can to see if I can put together a Libya snack collection, but I can't promise that it wouldn't have a grenade thrown along with it. So
Jesus.
I'm not sure it's going to make it to you guys.
You tried that?
Yeah, by the time this episode airs, I'll be off. So thanks for including me, guys, and thanks for including me on a Snickers episode. I really appreciate that.
We had to make it up to you after that Little Debbie debacle.
Yeah.
It's just a strawberry shortcake roll with a slammed around a grenade,
Yeah.
smashed around the outside of it.
That's probably much better than what's actually going to be happening there. So let's see. I'll give you guys a full report when I'm back.
Also, if you're better served just mailing food to people in Libya instead of us, we'd understand. I don't feel a little guilty. Like, oh yeah, the last Swiss roll in Libya. I'm gonna send it to my dickhead friends. They could talk about how it looks like someone's boner for 2 hours.
Well, laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah.
You're like walking past these starving refugees, like, not for you. Gotta ship it to a couple of privileged Americans.
Hey, where'd you get that grape?
Yeah. Counting grapes. Put that back.
Yes, thank you so much, Chrissy. You are a part of the YTD family, and we wish you the best. So,
I will be listening to you guys from overseas.
all right, and that'll do it. We'll be back next time when we'll be trying out 3 brand new.
Deuces.
Yep.